I'm Azaria Tagaya, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Floods worsen with Kelantan recording significant rise in victims. And Australia passes social media ban for children under 16. Good morning. Kelantan recorded a significant rise in flood victims, while the situation in Terengganu is improving. The other states affected by the floods are Kedah, Perlis and Perak. In Kelantan, the Social Welfare Department's Info Bencana portal reported that the number of victims rose to 54,448, with 220 relief centres or PPS in 10 districts, up from 29,023 victims in 151 PPS on Thursday morning. The two most affected districts are Pasir Mas with 19,769 victims in 52 PPS, followed by Tumpat with 8,434 evacuees in 17 PPS. Other affected areas include Tanah Merah, Kuala Krai, Bachok, Pasir Putih, Kota Baru, Machang, Jeli and Gua Musang. In Terengganu, the number of victims stood at 10,229, down from 14,111 on Thursday afternoon, with Besut remaining the most affected with 3,622 evacuees at 89 PPS. Setiu recorded 2,285 victims at 42 PPS, followed by Hulu Terengganu, Kemaman, Marang, Dungun, Kuala Nerus and Kuala Terengganu. Meanwhile, in Kedah, the number of evacuees decreased to 1,495 people from 520 families in 23 PPS, compared to 1,849 people from 595 families in the afternoon. In Perlis, the number of victims decreased slightly to 331 individuals in 4 PPS, compared to 383 in the afternoon. Meanwhile, the flood situation in Perak remained unchanged, as 20 people are still being placed at 1 PPS in Kurian. The Social Welfare Department JKM is prepared to activate 8,481 temporary relief centres nationwide, capable of accommodating 2.1 million evacuees in the event of floods. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said 82,794 officers and personnel from various government agencies are on high alert, with 37,127 units of assets already mobilised. In a written parliamentary reply, Zahid said the assets include 2,031 rescue boats, 1,399 4x4 vehicles, 1,646 heavy-duty vehicles, 31 helicopters, 30,260 life jackets of various sizes for victims, and 1,760 modular steel panel bridges. JKM is also making full use of 774 storage facilities nationwide, starting in September and October, in preparation for the northeast monsoon. He said the government, through funds channeled by the National Disaster Management Agency NADMA to all states, has provided two types of disaster assistance, namely the National Disaster Relief Fund and Death Management Assistance. The National Disaster Relief Fund offers 1,000 ringgit to each household head affected by the disaster, provided they've been relocated or registered at a relief centre or PPS. Meanwhile, the Death Management Assistance provides 10,000 ringgit to the next of kin of victims who have died due to the disaster. Ahmad Zahid also called on all government agencies and departments to postpone any meetings or courses in Kelantan and Terengganu which are currently hit by floods. Meanwhile, the National Disaster Management Agency NADMA has been ordered to streamline the coordination of its entire machinery, including federal and state agencies. This is to ensure the safety and welfare of flood victims. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said residents in the affected areas will continue to be the top priority during the northeast monsoon season.
NADMA telah diarah untuk memperkemas penyelarasan seluruh kekuatan jentera, agensi persekutuan dan negeri untuk memastikan keselamatan serta kebajikan mangsa banjir. Dan penduduk di kawasan terkesan menjadi keutamaan tertinggi sepanjang tempoh monsun Timur Laut November 2024 hingga Mac 2025.
Anwar also thanked all parties, including NADMA and the entire machinery, including the state governments, who gave better cooperation in preparing for this monsoon season. On another matter, Malaysia's vocal support for Palestine has not affected bilateral trade and diplomatic relations with the US. Anwar told the Dewan Rakyat on Thursday that bilateral trade with the US rose 29% in the first 10 months of the year, and there are also 1,321 projects underway, all being managed with a total investment value of $39 billion. Anwar said this demonstrates that diplomatic relations between Malaysia and the US remain strong.
Tetapi sebagai satu negara merdeka dan berdaulat, pendirian kita dalam isu-isu antarabangsa, termasuk keganasan, kezaliman, penindasan, penjajahan di Palestin dan Gaza akan terus kita suarakan. Dan saya tidak fikir pertimbangan ekonomi sementara sangat penting boleh menjejaskan pendirian kita atau mengurangkan atau mengekang pendirian kita dalam menyuarakan hak tuntutan keadilan buat rakyat Palestin khususnya di Gaza.
He added that Malaysia will continue fostering comprehensive sharing and cooperation, including holding regular meetings. The government would monitor developments following US President-elect Donald Trump's pledge to impose significant tariffs on 3 countries, Canada, Mexico and China. Later in the day, the Prime Minister, speaking at the Festival of Ideas in Putrajaya, said ideas that include principles and moral values will bring Malaysia closer to realizing its potential as a thriving, fair and innovative nation. Anwar, however, said the ideas must stem from a good heart while being grounded in moral and ethical values. The Prime Minister said it was important to balance tradition and progress as Malaysia must remain rooted in its identity, culture, language and religious beliefs while embracing advancements.
Idea boleh bercambah, idea boleh kecamuk. Sebab itu, penerimaan idea, pengupasan idea itu sangat penting. Buya Hamka pernah mengungkap dalam magnum opus falsafah hidup. Idea dan cita-cita itu sangat perlu bagi kehidupan. Karena tanpa idea dan cita-cita, kita tidak punya hakikatnya. Ini bermakna idea yang kita bicara ini mestilah idea yang merupakan kerangka besar yang mempertahankan nilai-nilai murni termasuk kemanusiaan dan kebaikan.
During his talk at the event, Anwar also criticized those who exploit divisive issues rooted in racial sentiment and called on youth to move beyond such divisive rhetoric. He called on all Malaysians, particularly the youth, to hold leaders accountable, saying it is not enough to produce intelligent individuals, but rather, he said, the nation needs individuals with ethics as well as wisdom. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC has completed its investigation into the investments by several government entities in e-commerce platform Fashion Valet Sendirian Berhad. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said the investigation paper has been submitted to the Director of the Anti-Graft Agency's Legal and Prosecution Division for review. In a statement on Thursday, Azam said a decision regarding this investigation is expected to be reached soon. The MACC chief previously said the MACC was looking into how Fashion Valet spent investment funds from Khazanah Nasional Berhad and Pemodalan Nasional Berhad, which lost 43.9 million ringgit after investing in the platform. Sovereign Wealth Fund Khazanah had invested 27 million ringgit and asset manager PNB another 20 million ringgit for a minority stake in the local fashion retailer in 2018. However, they sold their stake for 3.1 million ringgit at the end of last year to NXBT Partners, an investment holding company controlled by Afzal Abdul Rahim, the CEO of Time.com Berhad. It was previously reported that Fashion Valet co-founders Vivi Yusof and Fatzaruddin Shah Anwar were being investigated in connection with the case. Fashion Valet's bank accounts, including those of 30 Maple Sendirian Berhad, a company which it acquired, were also frozen by the graft busters as part of its investigation. The Kuala Lumpur High Court on Thursday dismissed an application by Rumah Bonda founder Siti Bainun Ahmad Razali to postpone the execution of a 12-year prison sentence for neglecting and abusing a 13-year-old girl with Down syndrome known as Bella 3 years ago. Judge Dato' Azhar Abdul Hamid made the decision after lawyer Ashraf Abu Bakar Hamza, representing Siti Bainun, aged 32, informed the court that the defence intended to withdraw the application. During the proceedings, Ashraf said that Siti Bainun wanted to withdraw the application at the High Court here that was filed on June 6 last year. The date for the appeal to set aside the conviction and sentence at the Court of Appeal has not yet been set. On May 2nd last year, Judge Dato' Norin Badaruddin, who is now a Court of Appeal judge, upheld the conviction and 12-year prison sentence against Siti Bainun. On May 3rd, 2023, Sessions Court Judge Israeli Zamsanusi sentenced Siti Bainun, who is active in community activities, to 12 years in prison after finding her guilty of 2 charges of neglecting and abusing Bella. In Malacca, 3 people were burnt to death after the taxi they were travelling in caught fire after crashing onto a bridge wall at Jalan Kampung Lancang, Merlimau on Thursday. In the 9 a.m. incident, the victims were identified as a taxi driver and an elderly couple who were the taxi passengers. Merlimau Fire and Rescue Station Operations Commander, Assistant Fire Superintendent Muhammad Farid Abu Bakar said a team of 11 personnel was deployed to the scene after his team received a call about the incident at 9:09 a.m. Upon arrival, rescuers found that the car was 90% engulfed in flames. The 3 victims were trapped inside the vehicle and were confirmed dead by medical personnel. Justin Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Ahmad Jamil Radzi said that initial investigations revealed that the vehicle was travelling from Justin to Merlimau when the driver lost control of the car and collided into a bridge wall. The victims were identified as the taxi driver, 71-year-old S. Subramaniam, and 2 passengers, 84-year-old Husali Umar and his 60-year-old wife, Mastura Said. It is believed that the fire is caused by a leak of natural gas fuel installed in the vehicle due to the accident. The victims' remains were sent to the Jasin Hospital for autopsy. Billionaire tycoon Tan Sri T. Ananda Krishnan passed away on Thursday at the age of 86. He passed on peacefully. According to a statement from his private vehicle, Ushat Tagas Sendirian Berhad, his family wishes to mourn in private. The company said he has made significant contributions to nation building and the corporate world. Ananda Krishnan's holdings include mobile network operator Maxis Berhad, pay television company Astro Malaysia Holdings Berhad, and oilfield services firm Bumi Armada Berhad. He was last ranked Malaysia's 6th richest man by Forbes with a net worth of $5.1 billion US. Tourism Malaysia has identified 100 tourism destinations in the country which are less visited by local tourists. According to its Director General, Datuk Manoharan Periasamy, intensive promotions for all the affected destinations will be conducted to attract more tourists. He said that Tourism Malaysia always strives to encourage Malaysians to travel domestically. The agency also established collaboration with many other parties, including highway concessionaires and hoteliers. The identified programs include organising concerts in addition to sports tourism, which can attract many tourists. Malaysia has attracted investments worth 34.6 billion ringgit in the country's semiconductor industry in the first 6 months of 2024. Following this, the government is optimistic about achieving the investment target set in the National Semiconductor Strategy (NSS). According to the Investment, Trade and Industry Ministry, 98 million ringgit was from domestic investment, while the remaining 33.63 billion ringgit was from foreign investments. In 2023, this sector contributed 69.4 billion ringgit or 82% of the total 84.5 billion ringgit in approved investments for electrical and electronics projects E&E. Up to the 3rd quarter of 2024, NSS has also created 4,673 job opportunities, with 97% of the recruitment being technical workers, thus contributing to the country's talent pool. There are several untapped business opportunities that Malaysia can explore with Russian businesses. According to the Electrical and Electronics Association of Malaysia, this is particularly true amid concerns about rising tariffs, offering both countries an opportunity to grow trade volumes and strengthen economic ties. Its president, Chang Yu-cheong, said several established Russian businesses in Malaysia present opportunities for closer ties. Aside from this, the geographical proximity of Russia to Malaysia also offers a strategic advantage for trade between these economies. The association also sees the potential for more active ringgit-ruble transactions if a significant enough transaction volume can be generated. In 2023, trade turnover between Russia and Malaysia rose by 11% to almost 14 billion ringgit. Malaysia's exports to Russia in the electric and electronics sector also grew by 96.9%. Oil prices were flat on Thursday after a surprise jump in U.S. gasoline inventories and postponement of the OPEC Plus meeting on output policy. Brent crude futures edged up by 8 cents to $72.91 a barrel by 9:55 a.m. local time, while U.S. Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 7 cents at $68.79. Trading is also expected to be light because of a local holiday in the U.S. on Thursday. Meanwhile, OPEC Plus has delayed its weekend meeting to avoid a conflict with another event. OPEC Plus sources have said there will again be discussions on November 5th over another delay to oil output increases due to start in January. Selangor Red Giants suffer shocking defeat. MLBB M6 World Championship after this breather.
Kita melukis ni satu gambar, kalau yang senang tu dalam 5 minit boleh siap. Kalau yang agak suka mungkin makan masa 6-7 minit sebab daripada segi lukisan, daripada segi warna, ada banyak warna.
Untuk bahagian motor ni kita pakai depan motor lah, racer belakang kan kita pakai lori punya. Okey, lepas tu kita pakai gearbox transfer untuk 4-wheel dia untuk lebih pick up dan lebih kuat.
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Yelah, seorang ibu kan salin normal, tak tahu dia kena kanser kan. Hati seorang ibu ni kecewa lah kan. Anak nak kena buang mata. Orang ejek dia cacat, orang ejek dia buta. Macam-macam lah pandangan orang budak-budak ejek dia. Mungkin Allah nak bagi saya semangat baru untuk anak istimewa macam ni kan. Nanti Mama buat mata baru, pasang, bagi nampak handsome dah. Okey? Boleh? Okey, nanti kita buka.
Can mothers and daughters really be best friends? Join us and discover the beauty of a mother-daughter bond.
That role of trying to strike a balance is not really necessary if you have that instinct to prioritize. So you prioritize and you do your best.
Listen to each other, not just for daughters, I think for mothers as well. Try your best not to get angry so quickly.
TV3, stream now on Tonton.
Topik menarik di MHI minggu ini
bertemakan kasih keluarga, jiwa madani, jom raikan bulan keluarga kebangsaan.
Suka habiskan masa di dalam tandas? Awas, mungkin membawa kesan buruk kepada kesihatan.
Cuaca sekarang memang tak menentulah. Kena sentiasa cakna tentang amaran ribut kencang dan banjir.
Kahwin di usia yang muda? Sesuatu yang wajar atau sebaliknya?
Jaga-jaga dengan pinjaman tudah segera, anda mungkin terpedaya.
Jangan lupa MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi.
Di TV3 juga stream ditonton.
We're back with sports. The Mobile Legends Bang Bang M6 World Championship. Malaysia's main hope, Selangor Red Giants or SRG, suffered a stunning defeat against Turkish champions S2G in their opening match of the Swiss stage event in Putrajaya on Thursday. In the best-of-1 format, S2G took early control, leading 7 kills to 4 by the 8th-minute mark. Tournament favourites SRG bounced back to lead 8 kills to 7 and looked to have momentum on their side, even securing 2 Lord in the middle of the game. However, SRG's small mistakes ultimately cost them the match as the Turkey team pushed into their base and destroyed the mid-season champions Crystal to end the game with a score of 14 kills to 10. Despite the loss, SRG still has 4 more chances to secure the 3 victories needed to enter the final 8, while S2G now needs only 2 more wins to qualify. Meanwhile, another Malaysian representative, Team Vamos, also suffered the same fate, falling to Saudi Arabia's Twisted Minds with a 14-21 defeat. The Malaysian side started strong, gaining an early lead with multiple kills against their opponents. However, their momentum was halted midway through the game as Twisted Minds mounted a comeback, levelling the score at 14 kills all. The Saudi Arabian team then dominated the remainder of the match, wrapping up the 21-14 victory after 19 minutes. With the result, Team Vamos now needs to secure 3 wins in the remaining 4 matches to book a spot in the knockout stages. On to hockey now. The 2024 Men's Junior Asia Cup. The Young Tigers continued their impressive run in the tournament with a dominant 9-1 victory over Oman in their second Group B match on Wednesday. The national team wasted no time, securing a 4-0 lead in the first quarter with 2 goals each from Muhammad Haris Iskandar Osman and Tina Vinesh Panikkar. Muhammad Hanzala Abdul Hadi added to Oman's woes with a 5th goal in the second quarter, and Haris completed his hat-trick by the end of the third quarter. Muhammad Danish Aiman joined the scoresheet in the 35th minute, but Oman managed a consolation goal through Al-Kasmi Ahmad 4 minutes later. The Young Tigers maintained their dominance with Haris scoring his 4th goal of the match, followed by Cik Nur Akhirullah Cik Khairul Anwar sealing the 9-1 rout in the 54th minute. The victory keeps the Young Tigers on track for the semi-finals with 2 matches remaining. Turning to football now, the AFC Champions League 2, Selangor FC suffered a 1-2 defeat against Thailand's Muang Thong United at the MBPJ Council Stadium on Thursday night, leaving them with a tough road ahead to qualify for the knockout stages. The match saw the Red Giants take the lead early on, with Quentin Cheng scoring in the 5th minute. However, Muang Thong United responded strongly, with Felicio Brown-Forbes equalising 8 minutes after the break before Poramet Ajvirai sealed the 2-1 comeback win for the Thai side with a powerful goal in the 76th minute. With that, Katsuhito Kinoshi's men must win their last group match against Cebu FC to stay in contention for a spot in the knockout rounds, as they've dropped to 3rd place with 7 points, 1 behind Muang Thong. Australia passes social media ban. The details when Nightline returns.
Wanita hari ini. Setiap daripada kita ingin bahagia. Izinkan kita bahagia dengan cara sendiri. Apakah menu yang dapat mengembalikan nostalgia? Menu jalanan antaranya mi goreng, rojak dan macam-macam lagi. Tidak semua orang mendapat peluang kedua. Tapi kalau diberi peluang kedua, apa kenangan yang ingin anda cipta? Menopause antara perkara yang menjadi kebimbangan dalam kalangan wanita. Adakah ia permulaan atau pengakhiran? Fiza, komunikasi dapat membaiki hubungan. Tapi kadang-kadang pasangan susah nak buat bincang. Semuanya di WHI TV3. Berani menggalas tanggungjawab, kejayaan wanita cetus inspirasi.
Saya tak takutlah pergi ke kubur, tapi saya sentiasa buat pelindung diri saya sendiri. Waktu malam itulah dia datang dan kita tahu beza bunyi kucing dan bunyi sesuatu.
Untuk resep ini kita guna style tradisional. Once kita nampak dia punya bubble dah reduce, maksudnya dia dah siap lah tu.
Yang penting ialah perhatian. Biar dia curahkan kepada kita dan kita cuba tolong dia.
Yelah, seorang ibu kan salin normal, tak tahu dia kena kanser kan. Hati seorang ibu ni kecewa lah kan. Anak nak kena buang mata. Orang ejek dia cacat, orang ejek dia buta. Macam-macam lah pandangan orang budak-budak ejek dia. Mungkin Allah nak bagi saya semangat baru untuk anak istimewa macam ni kan. Nanti Mama buat mata baru, pasang, bagi nampak handsome dah. Okey? Boleh? Okey, nanti kita buka.
Kita melukis ni satu gambar, kalau yang senang tu dalam 5 minit boleh siap. Kalau ayah tak suka, mungkin makan masa 6-7 minit sebab daripada segi lukisan, daripada segi warna, ada banyak warna.
Untuk bahagian motor ni kita pakai depan motor lah, racer belakang kan. Kita pakai lori punya. Okey, lepas tu kita pakai gearbox lah, transfer untuk 4-wheel dia, untuk lebih pick up dan lebih kuat.
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Back on Nightline with the 4 News. Australia passed into law on Thursday a social media ban for children aged under 16, setting a benchmark for jurisdictions around the world with one of the toughest regulations targeting big tech. The social media minimum age bill sets Australia up as a test case for a growing number of governments which have legislated or said they plan to legislate an age restriction on social media amid concern about its mental health impact on youth. A trial of methods to enforce it will start in January, with the ban to take effect in a year. The law forces tech giants from Instagram and Facebook owner Meta to TikTok to stop minors logging in or face fines of up to $32 million. The ban could, however, strain Australia's relationship and its existing mood of antagonism between the country and mostly US domiciled tech giants. Candidates backed by new Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto look set to triumph in key regional elections on Thursday, apart from in the capital Jakarta, facilitating the implementation of his agenda and reinforcing his domination of national politics. According to initial results from the pollsters, candidates backed by Prabowo's broad coalition won most key provinces, including Central Java, West Java and East Java. Widodo's son-in-law, who was also backed by Prabowo's big coalition, won in North Sumatra province, a key province on the island of Sumatra. However, in Jakarta, the candidates for governor and deputy governor, backed by the opposition Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle, had between 49.4% to 51.1% of votes. Analysts said the overall results would smooth the way for Prabowo to implement his own election pledges and give him room to start building a platform to run for re-election in 2029. Also in Indonesia, rescue workers recovered at least 27 bodies on Thursday from under tons of mud and rocks, as well as those that were swept away in flash floods that hit mountainside villages on Sumatra Island. Mud, rocks and trees throughout the week tumbled down the mountain after heavy rains, tearing through 4 hilly districts in North Sumatra province, washing away houses and destroying farms. Police, soldiers and rescue workers used excavators, farm equipment and their bare hands to sift through the rubble looking for the dead and missing. The disaster chief in hardest hit Karo district said the discovery of victims not yet reported missing to authorities remained a possibility. This is because the area provided access to hot springs, so there was a possibility that tourists were hit by the landslide. More than a dozen people have been killed and many others feared dead on Thursday after heavy rains caused landslides in eastern Uganda. According to the Uganda Red Cross Society, at least 13 bodies had been recovered after landslides completely buried 40 homes in 6 villages of the mountainous district of Bulambuli the previous night. It said rescue efforts were continuing and the death toll was likely to rise. The heavy rains in recent days have also caused flooding in the northwest after a tributary of the Nile River burst its banks, and main roads across the country have been cut off. South Korea continued to grapple with heavy snowfall for a second day on Thursday, with dozens of flights cancelled, ferry operations suspended and at least 4 people reported dead in a bitter winter. More than 40 centimeters of snow piled up on parts of Seoul by 8 a.m. local time, although weather officials lifted heavy snow warnings in the capital's metropolitan area by 10 a.m. on Thursday. 1 person died and 2 were injured at a golf range after a net overladen with snow collapsed late on Wednesday, while another was killed in a similar collapse of a protective tent at a car park. Reports also said traffic accidents on highways east of the capital killed at least 2 more people. Meanwhile, Seoul's main airport, Incheon, was the worst affected, with passengers facing delays of 2 hours on average, while 14% of flights were delayed and 15% cancelled on Thursday. Concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as Ukrainian elite freediver Katerina Sarduska once again redefined the limits of human potential, setting a new world record in the no-fins discipline with an extraordinary dive to 82 meters. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.